Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Before we start our class, let's do a simple Mangala Charana. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaim Narotamam Deving Saraswating Vyasam Tato Jayam Vidirayat Nasta Preshavdareshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistikihi Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Jnana Salakaya Chakshunanmalatanyana Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimite Japataka Swami Iti Namini Nama Achara Padaya Nitai Kripa Padayane Gorakadadamdai Nirgram Tani Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome everyone to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 1, Chapter 2, chapter entitled Divinity and the Divine Service, text number 7. So this text is going to talk about knowledge and renunciation, Jnanam and Vairagam. Okay, let's begin. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. By rendering devotional service unto the Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, one immediately acquires causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. Purport. Those who consider devotional service to the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna to be something like material emotional affair may argue that in the revealed scriptures, sacrifice, charity, austerity, knowledge, mystic power, and similar other processes of transcendental realization are recommended. According to them, Bhakti or devotional service of the Lord is meant for those who cannot perform the high-grade activities. Generally, it is said that Bhakti cult is meant for Sudras, Vaishyas, and the less intelligent woman class. But that is not the actual fact. The Bhakti cult is the topmost of all transcendental activities, and therefore it is simultaneously sublime and easy. It is sublime for the pure devotees who are serious about getting in contact with the Supreme Lord, and it is easy for new devotees, neophyte devotees, who are just on the threshold of the house of Bhakti. To achieve the contact of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is a great science, and it is open for all living beings, including the Sudras, Vaishyas, women, and even those lower than the low-born Sudras. So what to speak of the high-class men like the qualified Brahmanas and the great self-realized kings? The other high-grade activities designated as sacrifice, charity, austerity, etc. are all assistants or corollaries, factors following in the pure and scientific Bhakti cult. The principle of knowledge and detachments are two important factors on the path of transcendental realization. The whole spiritual process leads to perfect knowledge of everything material and spiritual, and the results of such perfect knowledge are that one becomes detached from material affections and become attached to spiritual activities. Becoming detached from material things does not mean becoming inert altogether, as men with a poor fund of knowledge think. Nice karma means not undertaking activities that will produce good or bad effects. Negation does not mean negation of the positive. Negation of the non-essential does not mean negation of the essential. Similarly, detachment from material forms does not mean nullifying the positive forms. The Bhakti cult is meant for realization of the positive form. When the positive form is realized, the negative forms are automatically eliminated. Therefore, With the development of the Bhakti cult, with the application of positive service to the positive form, one naturally becomes detached from inferior things and he becomes attached to superior things. Similarly, the Bhakti cult, being the supermost occupation of the living being, leads him out of material sense enjoyment. That is the sign of a pure devotee. He is not a fool, nor is he engaged in the inferior energies, nor does he have material values. This is not possible by dry reasoning. It actually happens by the grace of the Almighty. In conclusion, one who is a pure devotee has all other good qualities, namely knowledge, detachment, and others. But one who has only knowledge or detachment is not necessarily well acquainted with the principle of the Bhakti cult. Bhakti is the supermost occupation of human beings. Hare Krishna. So here it's a very, very wonderful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Sutta Goswami is talking to the sages in Naimisaranya, and he's talking about causeless knowledge and detachment from the world. So these causeless knowledge and detachments are two items that cannot be separated. These two items are the starting down, the first steps in spiritual life. The opposite of causeless knowledge and detachment is ignorance and attachment to this material world. So long as one is ignorant of his true identity, his true occupation, his true purpose of being in this material world, and true purpose of having a human form of life, and so long one is attached to the false idea that he is the enjoyer of this material world, his spiritual realization will never take place, will never happen. And so long as this person does not start his spiritual life, he will never get to experience the joys and the bliss of devotional service onto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. So many sages, so many kings of the bygone eras, bygone ages, they have given up their wealth, their position, their power, everything, simply to go to the forest to meditate upon the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. So one might ask, why would such people who have all this material wealth and material qualifications, why would they give it up as if it's some like some kind of rubbish that you throw on the side of the road? Why would they give it up like that? Why? Because there is something greater than the material opulence that we find in this material world. And throughout the ages, for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, even until today, if you go to places like Haridwar and Keshigarh, Vrindavan, Mayapur, Rameshwaram, Dwarka, you can always find their sages who have given up all the material enjoyment of life simply to taste the Brahma Bhuta, to taste the nectar of devotional service, rendering loving devotional service onto the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. So this subject matter is a very, very deep subject matter and is worth getting into it and studying it. Hare Krishna, I will end here. Thank you very much.